Anyway, we're down here in the courtyard that we saw before. Remember, I pointed that out to you when we were looking up, looking from up there. And these are the enemies that I said were here. A bunch of crystal golems. Don't worry, there are in fact a bunch. Yeah, see, look, there's a trio over there. Another one over there. There are plenty. Hello. These things haven't gotten much more difficult. They might have more HP than the ones near the Hydra, but they act exactly the same. Now, let's see if I can pull one of these things away. That hat kind of gets in the way, doesn't it? Hello, come on. There we go. So yeah, again, not the most difficult enemy, but I don't want to deal with more than one of them at once. I don't know if they've shown off their attack that can, like, spawn crystals at you, but you don't want to have multiple of those going. Like that thing. Especially troublesome is that those crystal attacks tend to tank the frame rate. They were really bad on my old computer. They're better now, but for you, I don't know if you'll notice a difference, but for me, it seems to go from, like, 60 to 30. On my old computer, it'd go from, like, 25 to 4. Ooh. You know what I just realized? I don't think I ever equipped a second ring after that rare ring of sacrifice broke. I'm going to equip the curse bite ring, which increases curse resistance, right? I didn't misread that. Yeah. Sir Arster of Kareem. I don't remember his name. I don't think we've seen him. Yeah, so it helps protect you from curse buildup, which will be useful. It will be useful. You just trust me on this. So I'm going to take a tour around the periphery here. Ugh. Periphery is a good way to make sure I'm finding everything. These guys provide a nice number of souls. Very happy about that. Crystalline Helm. Okay, so this is the armor that one fellow who we met right before the Seath fight was wearing. Let's see what the lore says about that. Oh, we never looked at this, by the way. Helm and Channelers, sorcerers that you serve Seath Scaleless, 6 eyes arranged in 2 vertical columns compensate for the Seath's lack of sight. So Seath is blind. I don't know if this has actually been explained, or is it all relevant, but he's blind. Even after the onset of Seath's madness, the Snatchers, as they were often called, ventured into Farlands to find suitable human specimens. So these are the guys who actually did the kidnapping of the maidens. Crystalline Helm worn by a hollowed knight who is partially crystallized. Yeah, so doesn't say anything about the homeland, doesn't say anything about who they served, just that they were a knight. That's sad. Also weird that those grant extra defense, given that most of the crystal stuff is pretty fragile. Hey, you're hanging out way in the corner. And levitating. Nothing there. Yeah, look at all these golems. Also, this is an interesting terrain to fight on. In that... Whoop, you're not even the one I hit. In that it's very slanted. Normally you're fighting on flat ground or occasionally stairs, but this is just a huge, huge area that's basically all slanted. I don't know if it really changes much in terms of how you actually approach a fight, but it's a neat little change. Also worth noting that that crystal attack is AoE, not just straight in front of him. Man, crystal trees and everything. Yeah, we'll go down there in just a sec. Smooth combo right there. Alright, is that all of them? Are they all hanging out by the periphery there? Just want to make sure. Because again, there's an NPC side quest that can involve a golem around here, but that doesn't seem to be happening, so I'm just going to move on. Figure out why it's not triggering later. Maybe it's too late. Maybe I screwed everything up. I don't know. All right. So this is where the design of the game gets a little bit different. So normally we've been working through, man-made structures, cities, buildings, the occasional, forest, but now we have a giant cave of crystal called Crystal Cave, appropriately enough. Very, very different. Hello, Golem. Come on up. So now we have a couple different things to deal with. We have a bunch of slanted surfaces, and we have a lot of slopes. And it's not always super clear exactly what you can stand on. Difference between a sliding slope and a not sliding slope, not always super clear. Plus, it's just kind of going every which way. You got diagonals. You've got just kind of random mounds like this. And you've got one other really weird thing. You have invisible floors. Now, you may be thinking, what the fucking shit? What is this goddamn bullshit? This is stupid. So the thing is, there are little hints. First off, you can see these like snowflakes or crystal flakes falling down and kind of hitting the floor and shattering. That's one indicator of where a crystal floor is. There's one other way to tell, and we'll show that in just a sec once we get to a better example. Also, hello, look at that. It's a moonlight butterfly. So, moonlight butterflies, you may remember, attack with sorcery, and they actually use Seath's sorceries. They are magic creatures either created or experimented on by Seath. They are his creations, and the one in Darkroot Garden just, I guess, happened to get away. You can, if you are goddamn nuts, attack this thing. It will try to kill you, and it will probably succeed. Don't attack it. That's dumb. It's not doing anything to you. Alright, so you may also notice that some helpful players have laid out messages to indicate what is safe. Also, this is a development message, just in case you didn't figure it out. But what's tricky is that you can't always tell, they're all straight lines, but it's very hard to walk in a straight line. It's just tricky. Tricky triangles. Also, this path, this is a terrible, terrible path. Because it's slanted in a really weird way. It's very easy to roll off. Also, this golem is stronger than the other golems. I don't know if it looks different or if it's just the lighting, but it looks more gray. Ugh. So because of the slant here, it's very, very easy for this guy. And in fact, it's really narrow. And he's got really big. It's very easy for this guy to knock you off or for you to accidentally kind of slide off. Really, really tricky. Bet this guy died by falling off. Yep. Now, this... Oh. Now, look at this. This... If you just walk in a straight line, the game will automatically slide you down. And it... Really, really precarious right there. I'm pretty sure I have fallen off there. And then you can walk onto here, but not onto here. And then, oh god, it's really hard to tell what's safe and what's not. And then this is really tricky. You drop down here, there's a path above that other golem, so you're not actually in danger. Turn around, there's a path, there's a couple crystal lizards. And, hello, look at this. This is straight up a labyrinth. An invisible labyrinth, and it lets you get over to that item. Screw that. I am not doing that. It's not worth it. Anyway, so the third way, other than messages and the snowflakes, is to lay down prism stones. You can hear and see that it's just kind of shattered right there. Whereas, if you toss it off the side... or like this. That's not safe. Also, you can see that the two prism stones I dropped on the path have left a little residual glow in different colors. So that way you can lay out a clear path. I don't know if they last through death, though, so I don't know how much good it does. And you can see they've added so many developer messages compared to the rest of the game. They realized that this is really hard. Anyway, let's see, can I walk off this way and drop onto him? No. I'm not sure how to get back on once I drop down and kill this guy, but I want to show him off, so... And of course, this guy is another one of the strong guys, like the previous one. So I guess the strongest golems hang out within the crystal cave, and the weaker ones fan out. Seems kind of like the opposite of what would happen in real life. The strong ones venture out because they can, go away from their source and home. So another thing about his crystal spawning attacks, that you can see this path kind of angles upwards. I'm pretty sure the crystals just kind of spawn within the path, which is awkward. Blue Titanite, worth it. Anyway, here's our next path. Where does it lead? Good question. This is terrifying. That's safe. That's safe. So another thing about this, depth perception is really messed up right now. It's really hard to tell how far away these snowflakes or whatever they are falling. So you really have to constantly readjust. And again, you don't know how far you are from falling off. One bad step could be your last. Yep. So, luckily, I've gotten everything I care about from the side paths there. So I'm just going to truck it. And the benefit of having all these crystals be straight paths, if not flat, means that once you know the path, or at least the most direct path, you can truck through it pretty darn quickly. You can just avoid these guys. Yep, you're not fighting me. Make a loop around, and really you don't even need to fight the guys on the narrow paths, because these guys are slow. That's the benefit of them being crystal golems. They're very slow. So if you run past them, they're not going to hit you. Also, that invisible path there was optional. Another plus side is that the extra powerful golems, the ones that appear more gray, they don't respawn. So once you've taken care of them, these slanted paths are totally safe. Anyway, I want to get that bloodstain. It's right there. And I can run forward. And then can run straight back for the prism stone there. So yeah, there's a benefit of having the marker of the little light marker. Now then, if we just run on over here, drop down here, and then we're back on the main path. And where are we trying to get to? Excellent question. You can see another message over there. Let's head for that. There it is. Okay. So I have some visual mods installed. I'm pretty sure if you're playing this without visual mods, it's actually a lot more clear that this is the point you're trying to get to. So I'll give the game credit there. But overall, Crystal Caves is a really confusing area, and not really in a good way. I don't really care for it. And when I play through it casually, I just truck through it. I don't try to get the extra items or anything. Soul of a Hero. I have a feeling that guy tried to fight... Oh! What are you doing? I didn't hurt you! I have a feeling that hero tried to fight the Moonlight Butterfly. Try eliminating one at a time. Excellent advice for this situation. You can see we have some clams here. Some sleeping clams. So a couple things to note about these clams. One, they have legs, which is weird. A lot of legs. More legs than most people have. They take a fair number of hits. And I think they may have an attack that can build up curse. I'm not sure. Whoops. Don't need the prism stones anymore. And they're big, and they got a... Oh, he just fell on geometry. I thought he had a really big crystal sticking out of him. Just naturally. So you got a bunch of these... 5... Ooh, that's interesting. 5-legged clams. Most... everything's have an even number of legs. So that's really interesting. Eliminating these guys is really, really useful. And eliminating one at a time is just generally good advice in Dark Souls. But there's a very good reason to kill these clams. Not just because of experience, but because the boss fight is right over there, but there's no fog gate. The boss fight activates when you enter the arena, but the clams can follow you into the arena and therefore the boss fight. So, kill them first, so they won't bother you during the boss fight. No, when I aggroed 3 of them, that's not good. Alright, let's make a tactical retreat. These guys seem to do a lot of poise reduction. They're actually faster than you'd think. Guess they have 5 legs. Stands to reason. Alright. Ooh, and they kick too. So yeah, these things are almost certainly Seath's creations. I can't imagine... I think it's really the 5 legs that make it stand out for me. It is 5, right? I'm not just being bad at counting. Because they're always moving, it's hard to tell. I'll kill this guy and see. Looks like 5. Is that 5? I think that's 5. God damn it. The fact, if they do indeed have 5, that is a good indicator that they are unnatural. Because nature has never made a creature with odd number of limbs. As far as I'm aware. Except maybe a weird mutant insects. Anyway, this is the boss arena. And you may be able to see that there are some dark silhouettes there. Remember the depths? How I said that players from other worlds who are cursed and turned to stone will appear as statues in your world? These are all players who have been cursed and died in the boss fight. Let's try to not let that happen to us. Important plot point. Okay, so the thing about Seath, he's still invincible until we destroy this thing, this crystal. Now that we've destroyed it, he will take damage. If you don't realize that, and you might not because it's freaking behind you, this boss fight could be a bad time for you. So Seath has a couple primary attacks. Some of them involve whipping you with his tail. Or tails, as it may be. There are 3 of them, it looks like. Others involve shooting a bunch of crystals at you. Now, depending on the way you approach this and what you want to get out of it, this can be a pretty difficult or a pretty easy fight. It's always been difficult for me, just because I'm bad at video games. But if you cut off his middle tail, you'll get a special weapon, a very good weapon. I think, stat-wise, objectively, the best magic weapon in the game. It's called the Moonlight Greatsword. It's a FromSoft tradition. And it is basically a greatsword that runs on intelligence. And good lord, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, if you have low curse resistance and not a lot of HP, that attack can do problems. So yeah, if you cut off your middle tail, he will get that Moonlight Greatsword. But because his tails are so aggressive when you're back there, it can be very difficult to do so. I'm not going to try. So, Seath looks pretty interesting. You can see that he has tried to kind of merge himself with the crystals. The entire base of his body is crystalline at this point. Also, so another reason this fight was really hard for me back in the day when I first played this game is because those crystals, as I mentioned before, just absolutely tanked my frame rate on my old computer. So anytime he used basically any crystal attack like this, my game became a slideshow. And that's, like, people say that, you know, kind of to exaggerate when they're getting, I don't know, 10 FPS. This was getting, like, a frame every few seconds. It was impossible to play. And it got even worse when all those crystals shattered after the attack, because, you know, they all shatter into even smaller pieces. And it's super hard for weaker or older computers to render. But that's Seath. Is you have a decent shield, and you can heal while he's doing this crystal thing, and you have good curse resistance. You can basically tank his crystal attacks. If you're good at video games, maybe you can do something else. I don't know. Also, gives a bunch of souls. So, let's check out the description for the Bequeathed Lord Soul. Is that in this one? It's not. Here it is. Soul of Seath the Scaleless. Soul of the albino Seath the Scaleless, a fragment of the Lord Soul discovered at the dawn of the Age of Fire. Seath allied with Lord Gwyn and turned upon the dragons, and for this he was rewarded dukedom, embraced by the royalty, and given a fragment of a Lord Soul. Although just a piece, it will satiate the Lord Vessel. Good. So yeah, we've got two in a row, the Four Kings and Seath, who were basically given ranks of high authority by Gwyn, and the having Lord Souls indicated that. Yeah, we got some levitating crystal pieces. And as with After the Four Kings, there's a bonfire here. It's only there so you can warp back to places. So we're back to Firelink Shrine. Just for the heck of it, you know, could be fun. Firelink's getting very lonely, isn't it? Logan's gone. I wonder if Petrus is still there. The jerk. Yeah, Petrus is still there. I don't care about him. And of course we pissed off Framp, so Framp's gone. Our pyromancy buddy's gone. So, yeah. Crestfallen Warrior, obviously. Mud Hollow. It's a little sad. Anyway, let's pump our endurance a little bit. And vitality. And that's, I guess, where I'm going to call it a night. Now that we have explored the Duke's archives and the lore associated with it, there is an optional area that I want to show off in the next recording session. And it's one that we could have gone to a long time ago, and it might be pretty easy at this point. But it's still worth checking out. But for now, I will see you guys next time.